it's your lovely Abbie Dagrin, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I will be doing a natal chart reading on the King of Pop, the King of Music, Michael Jackson. I will be explaining each part of his chart and explaining how that contributed to a lot of his success. And since his birthday was a few days ago, I know it's going to be something interesting for people to listen and hear about, because a lot of people are giving tributes to him because they adore him and they have a lot of respect for him. So I just wanted to get into his natal chart and why a lot of people do love him. Please stay tuned for the rest of my video. If you have not yet become a part of the Abbie Dagrin family, then this is your calling. You can hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you know when I upload new videos. Also, like this video, share this video with all your friends, family members, or anyone you know who may be a big Michael Jackson fan, a moonwalker, anyone who's interested in natal chart readings. So share it with them and do all of the former. Let's get right into the video. So Michael Joseph Jackson was born on August 29th, 1954 in Gary, Indiana. So this puts him in the class of being a Virgo. And traits of being a Virgo is being very hardworking, very creative, and a perfectionist. And throughout the scope of his career, you can see that he was very hardworking. He did a lot of tours, as well as he put out a lot of albums, and you can tell by his work that he was a perfectionist. When you look at a lot of his music videos, you can see that everything is perfectly aligned. And people who have gone to his concerts and tours have said that his concerts were so perfect. Everything was in order and everyone knew what they were supposed to do. And if you watched a lot of his videos of his rehearsals, you would see that there's a lot of structure and a lot of order there. Also, when you look at his music videos, you see a lot of creativity from his videos like Thriller to Billie Jean to other videos that he's produced. So his creativity shows, and a lot of the traits that he does exhibit shows that he truly is a Virgo. Next up would be his moon in Pisces. Because of this, he tends to be a lot more creative than other people. And he's very sensitive to other people's energy. And you can see this in the way that he would act and his demeanor. He tends to be an escape artist, so he'll make music or make art or be creative in a way that shows his emotions and shows the way that he is. He tends to be empathetic, and you can see by his demeanor and the way that he acts towards people. I think it's about $500 million he's donated to people and to organizations and to charities. So he really did have a heart to help other people, and he felt other people's pain. I heard that there were times in his life where he would just go into a closet and just write music based on what emotion he was feeling at the moment. So this really shows that he truly had a Pisces moon. And a lot of traits and characteristics show that. Next would be his Mercury in Leo. And someone who has a Mercury in Leo tends to have an authoritarian manner, and they know how to draw a crowd with their incredible flair and with their incredible personality. And you can see by a lot of Michael Jackson's concerts and performances that he could draw a lot of people towards him. There were so many concerts and so many tours that there were people that couldn't come in. A lot of people, if you watch videos of him, would basically run after his car and just have so much love for him and follow him wherever he went. They would stand outside his hotel room to make sure that they got an autograph, or they were just able to touch him or see him. So him having a Mercury in Leo explains so much about why a lot of people were drawn to him. It's basically something that he couldn't control because it was something directly in him already. Next would be Michael Jackson's Venus in Leo. So having a Venus in Leo, a person will go to great lengths to make sure that their relationship is very exciting. They're more likely going to be attracted to loving people, generous people, people who are very expressive, very playful, and very fun to be around. So when you look at Michael Jackson's relationships, like Lisa Marie Presley, Stephanie Mills, Brooke Shields, and other people like that, you would see that he was attracted to people who are very fun and who love to do interesting things. You see that he would probably buy them great gifts, and that he was attracted to people who were loving and generous, because you had people like Lisa Marie Presley, who was very loving towards him and generous, as well as Stephanie Mills. Till this day, she always says something positive about him and says kind things about him, as well as Brooke Shields and other people he's been in relationships with. Michael Jackson has a Mars in Taurus. So someone who has a Mars in Taurus, they are very patient, they are very enduring, they are very determined. And this is really when it comes to building stability, whether that's financially, whether that's in a house, building a house, getting a car. And there was one example of Michael Jackson really doing this. So he didn't leave his parents' house until he was around 30 years old. So he was very patient and very enduring to make sure that he had all his things together before he left his parents' house, to make sure that he has stability and wouldn't end up coming back to his parents' house, which he never did. And including providing stability, this shows why he was a very hard worker, because he wanted to make sure that he could live a lifestyle that made sure he was comfortable and stable in anything that he can do. This is why till this day, his offspring could be able to live a stable life as well. Next will be Michael Jackson's Jupiter in Libra. So someone who has a Jupiter in Libra has the ability to listen to all sides of a story, all sides of a situation, and will make sure the correct decision is being made. So they will listen to all sides and make sure that everyone knows that their voice is being heard, and when it's time for decision time, they're going to try their best to make the correct decision. So I remember I was listening to an audio of Michael Jackson talking about he does listen to others' opinions, everyone's opinions, however, he makes the last call on stuff. So this explains a lot about that statement he made, because he has a Jupiter in Libra, and that's something that they tend to do. And the fact that they try their best to listen to all sides of the story before making a decision just shows maturity and shows how they want to make sure everyone is not left out. Next will be Michael Jackson's Saturn in Sagittarius. So a person who has a Saturn in Sagittarius is going to try their best to focus on one thing until they have mastered it. And this is something that comes from being a perfectionist, and as you guys do know, Michael Jackson is a perfectionist. If you have watched a lot of his rehearsal videos, you can see that he makes sure it's not only himself, but all the people around him in rehearsal master one thing before they go on to another thing. He wants to make sure that everyone is taking step by step what they need to do, and he has the patience to know that not everyone is going to be able to get everything all at once. So he makes sure that everyone takes baby steps and makes sure that everyone understands each thing they're supposed to do. And when they master it, that's when he goes right on to the next dance move or goes on right to the next note. A person who has a Uranus in Leo tends to be very energetic, and they want to be able to express that energy through total freedom of their own. They will also tend to want to make their mark on this world, and that's according to what they want to do. People who have a Uranus in Leo tend to be a little eccentric, and they tend to be honest, straightforward, and a little bit offbeat. And this really does explain Michael Jackson, because he did make a mark on this world, And also, a lot of people do call him eccentric. However, that's just part of him having a Uranus in Leo, because they want to make sure they have their mark in this world. They want to make sure that they do everything on their own terms. And in society, when you're different, of course they're going to call you eccentric, and they're going to think that you're a little bit offbeat. However, even though those two traits may be true about him, his eccentric trait is copied all around the world, and a lot of people appreciate him. So don't ever be afraid of being called eccentric. Next will be his Neptune in Scorpio. A person who has a Neptune in Scorpio is going to be one of those rare signs that find pleasure and inspiration from one of the darkest place in history, or in just the darkest place period. And to a certain extent, this would be true about Michael Jackson, because what people consider dark places would probably be things that he talked about, like in the song Bad. Like in the song, it's not called Annie, Are You Okay? But you guys know the name of the song. And he made a whole song about that, and it did really good. Or like Billie Jean and that situation. People would call those dark places because they're not really positive things to be singing about. Or in the other song, Little Susie, and if you've heard that song, it's a pretty sad song. So in regards to that, he does fulfill that Neptune in Scorpio, and you can hear a lot of that in a lot of his songs. Michael Jackson has a Pluto in Virgo, and someone who has a Pluto in Virgo are very likely to help others, and they love to offer practical care that is necessary to improve anyone's status in society. So if you've looked at his history, he's loved to help a lot of people, whether it was monetarily or with music. He'll help people get onto records that they probably wouldn't have if it wasn't for him. He was able to get people record deals, get people houses and cars out of the kindness of his heart, because not only did he want them to have a lot of status, but for them to have a little stability in their lives. And he has also helped a lot of people build their status off of imitating him, off of imitating his talent, whether that's through them copying his dancing, or whether that's copying the songs that he's written and singing that so they can be able to have a lot of followers and have a lot of wealth because of that. So he has helped a lot of people indirectly, and he's helped people directly as well. Next will be his North Node in Libra. So he is a person that would need to develop cooperation, diplomacy and tact, increasing awareness of others' needs, selflessness, giving support without expecting anything in return, creating winning situations, sharing, seeing things through other people's eyes, and communicating his self-identity. In reading this list, a lot of these things he did cooperate. And he did accomplish, because diplomacy and tact, if you guys didn't know, he would go to a lot of countries and a lot of their governments, and he would meet presidents, prime ministers, and would actually talk to them about stopping things that he didn't think were necessary for them to do. He did share a lot, and he was very selfless. He was aware of other people's needs. He would talk about those needs through his music, and he brought a lot of awareness through his music as well as his music videos. He would see things through other people's eyes, and he would share a lot and communicate his self-identity. So I think he accomplished everything and developed all the attributes that he needed to develop. His Chiron was in Aquarius. And when someone has a Chiron in Aquarius, they are basically people who speak their truth. And Michael Jackson did show these attributes in ways that you probably did not know. So when he was in a dispute with Sony, he spoke his truth, he was honest. And throughout his whole career, you can see that he always spoke his truth, regardless of who listened to him, regardless of what people said about him. He always spoke his truth. He was honest about everything that he went through. He was honest about what people thought about him. He told how he truly felt. So because of that, a lot of people did not like it, although he would say it in a nice way. However, a lot of people weren't happy about that, so it did get him in a lot of trouble. And this is what happens with people who have a Chiron and Aquarius. They do get in a lot of trouble for sharing their truth and sharing how they truly feel. Next will be Michael Jackson's ascendant / rising in Pisces. And people who are like this are more than likely peaceful, artistic, emotional. They can be impressionable as well as chameleons. They can be in their dream world sometimes. And these traits really show that Michael Jackson did have these traits because he was very creative. And he was very artistic, and he was a very peaceful person, and he was a very emotional person as well. He also was very dreamy because if you guys have ever seen where he used to live, Neverland, he did have the Peter Pan symbol that he drew and made himself. And he also had Neverland, so this is basically his dream because he didn't have a childhood, so he relived it by buying or building a place, a farm that was so big, and they had rides and everything that would help him bring back his childhood. So he was a very dreamy person, and he had the opportunity to make that dream into a reality and into something that he could see every day. And because he was emotional, he was able to give great performances as well as give great music, and was able to understand people for who they were. Last but not least is Michael Jackson's midheaven in Sagittarius. Someone who has this placement tends to be very reflective, they're wonderful planners, and they love to keep several projects going on at once. They really love mental challenges, they love independence, they love to travel, and they will always work hard, and they don't mind the job that they have as long as they're able to help others and serve others, like, acting, politics, teaching, sales, or being a performer. And this is something that really shows him a lot. He did have a lot of projects going on at once. He did love a mental challenge, and he was very independent. He did travel a lot. He would travel from country to country to perform. And he really loved to serve others by his talent of singing, as well as his talent of singing, dancing, acting, performing. So he really lived up to his midheaven in Sagittarius. Well, that is all I have for you lovelies today. How did you guys like this natal chart reading on Michael Jackson? Let me know down below how you guys felt about it, whether you guys agreed with it, whether you guys got to understand Michael Jackson a lot more because of this natal chart reading. Let me know anything down below you think I might have made a mistake on. You can correct me down below in the comment section. You guys can follow me on all of my social media accounts here. It's on the screen, as well as they are linked down below, so you can just press on it and then follow. I love you guys all. Please stay safe and healthy and know that you are loved. Subscribe, like the video, and share it with all your friends or anyone who you may who would be interested in this video. Hit that notification bell so you guys know when I upload. Please stay safe and healthy, and know that you are loved and appreciated, and that you are very special and you are very important. I love you all. Bye.